Welcome back to Real Business Roundtable. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you find some value in today's episode. Please leave a like if you did. Today, we're going to build off of sales a little bit more. We're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss something that recently got brought up that I think is a great thing to understand. When you're a salesperson, biz dev person, whatever it may be, whatever position it is, your first instinct is to go directly to the owner or directly to the marketing person or directly to the whatever it is that you're trying to sell, to the person who heads up that aspect of the business. But that's not always the case. In most businesses, there's influential people. There's people who have been there for years, people who are friends with the owner, people who work on that thing that you're trying to sell, that could see value in that thing, who could then pitch it for you, essentially. For example, when we go into automotive groups, we're not going into a dealership, we're going into a group, right? That's the idea. When we're going into a group, we don't directly go into the office and sit down with the owner or the head of marketing. What we do is before we'll go to the different dealerships, we'll go to the different storefronts, and we'll speak to the GMs. We'll speak to the different departments there, the salespeople, and we'll get in their ear and we'll talk about how this product could make their job easier, how this product could help them, how this product could whatever it is, get their interest in it. Now that we have all these different GMs, salespeople, whatever it may be on board, going to the actual GM, going to the actual owner, whoever it may be, they're going to have heard about this. There's going to be rumbles about it within the dealership, and they're already gonna heard about it. So, and this could go for any type of business, really. It could go for construction company, home improvement. It could go for, like what's another one? E-commerce. It could go for any type of business.
When you're speaking to someone, you need to make sure that they either have strong influence or some type of participation in the decision-making process. So everyone thinks right away, I'm going to speak to the person that heads up the department or even the owner. Here's the thing. You may get one of those business owners that like to pawn things off because they can't make their own decisions. And they're going to make their department head make the decision. So if it fucks up, they can just go. I disagree with that methodology in business. I am confident enough to own mistakes. That's how you learn. But when you are prospecting, you need to sort of survey the landscape, so to speak. You need to figure out, okay, obviously we have the owner here, but is he the type to, slam down the hammer and go, I'm making this decision? If he's not, you have to be very cordial, very gentle, very extra pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie means really just being nice, really just respectful, extra sweet. So when you speak to this key influencer at the company, just know the slightest thing, just the smallest thing could make you lose the opportunity. So you need to first recognize, make them feel their authority, recognize their expertise, express what you're trying to bring to the table will make their life a whole lot easier. Especially if it's some kind of technology or it's a process or you have a team that can fulfill something that's normally on their plate. Again, you're dealing with the director of X, the manager of X. This is the key influencer within the organization that makes the decision or says, hey, Mr. Owner, I want to do this for the company and I need your blessing or your checkbook to approve this. And usually the owner go, yeah. But if that guy messes up, and again, that's a different, or sometimes you can't judge. Sometimes the receptionist might be someone who's an influencer. I don't know. There are different people people in companies have different connections and different levels of relationships with the hierarchy within that organization. You have to be on your A game to know look at the nonverbal cues, look at how people are behaving. I've walked into companies and I could tell that there was a lot of tension. But the owner was making all the final decisions. And then I've also walked in where like some 20-year-old kid was making all the decisions, and like the owner was like on the way out, retiring. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. What's going on? I'm the manager. I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm looking and I'm noticing that the owner's just like, he's checked out. He's either golfing. Every time I follow up, he's not there. He's in Florida. He's on a boat. I don't know what's happening, but I just know right now, here and now, that this 20-year-old gentleman is running the show. So I need to give him all the respect, all the pumpkin pie, all the kudos, because he's going to make the decision. So I'm going to talk to him and present what I can do. Without going off topic, I just want to stay focused here. We're talking about when you're doing sales, who to actually pitch and who not to pitch. Now, here's something that I need the audience to understand. If you're selling something that would make a vendor get fired, do not pitch that person. If you are selling something that will make that vendor or that provider or even that employee look irrelevant and not needed, do not pitch that person. If you do, here's a disclaimer. I want you to give them 2 slices of pumpkin pie. I want you to be extra nice. Send flowers, send candy, send tickets to a baseball game. Do everything other than kissing their feet. You need to present this in a very strategic, gentle, crafted way, so it does not fall off the dock into the water. Because right now, the dock's like this thin. You're on there like this. Oh, my God. This person's going to be threatened by me. Oh, shit. You're catwalking on a thin line of the guy going, yeah, we don't need you. We don't. You got to be very nice to them. And you need to position it like, I want to work with you. I want to make your job easier. I want to help you accomplish more out of your precious 8-hour day. I want you to be the hero. If you position it like that very carefully, respect their craft, respect their job, don't make them feel like they're going to be made irrelevant or you're going to make them look bad, because I'll tell you right now, I know it's business and they say, oh, there's no feelings in business. I have seen people get fired and it really broke my heart. Wasn't my intention. Okay, they were really nice people. They were in a position. I didn't realize that they did the thing that I said, hey, Mr. Business Owner, this is a piece of shit. I found out that you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And I found it was a really nice kid. He was a kind of a know-it-all, but I was 22 once too. I was early in the game, trying to make my mark, trying to do my thing. I felt bad. I really didn't want to see that kid get fired. He ended up getting fired. I even, when I was there in the meeting, I said, hey, I could kind of show you the ropes. Wink, wink. Let me kind of show you how to fucking fix this shit. Because the kid was just trying to build a career.
But long story short, long story short
is that the way I presented it in that situation is, if I could redo it, I would do it a little bit differently.
Well, we also had no idea that he built it. I mean, we had no clue.
Yeah.
We were just trying to give the guy who we initially went to meet with the direction that he should go into. And of course, he brought in the people who were responsible for...
And that's always a challenge when we see, we're like, well, who did this? And it's like, hey, what's going... Hey, I did that. I did this. And you're like... Oh. Or if it's the owner's relative... My son did this. And you're like, Okay, let's try to maneuver on an even smaller, thinner
I've actually
dock.
had situations where people have said that, and we were like, they can work alongside our.
Yeah, that's the thing. To get to our point on when you're pitching, 2 pieces of pumpkin pie. If it's a relative, pumpkin pie and
Cherry on top.
and a Werther's caramel lozenge. Extra, just a little extra, like, ooh, it's smooth, it's sweet, it's so delectable. Let's ease into this conversation with some candy.
But also do your research before going into and talking to these people.
You
because,
gotta
you gotta know who it is that you're talking to.
So careful. You have to be very careful when you're pitching someone. You don't know who they are, what their relationship to the owner is. You could say the smallest thing and they're like, go F yourself. So when you go into a situation, assess. Look at how people react to other people. Look at their eye movement. Look at their nonverbal cues, and try to be like a lion and just like look like you're in the bushes, right? And you're looking for like your next meal. Just assess. Okay, a bird went over here. Okay, a turtle's walking over there. Do I want bird or turtle? Bird or turtle? Bird or turtle?
Usually when you walk into a business, the person who you actually want to talk to, it might not even be the owner, but like we're talking about finding that hero, the guy who you're going to make the hero. You know, going into a business, they're the most hidden ones normally. So like, for example, we'll walk into a dealership, perfect example, everything's made of glass in there.
Yes.
You walk in, we'll stand there for a couple of seconds and just kind of look around.
You can
kind of get a feel like, okay, this salesperson's walking up to me, they're going to try to sell me a car. I'm going to start walking this way. And then you'll see in the back, there's like what is that department called? BDC, right?
The BDC, yeah.
You'll see that department there, and there's some guy sitting in the back.
Oh wait, no.
of the front desk.
That's usually the BDC is usually to the side. You're talking about the big counter?
No, I'm talking about like to the side, like
That's BDC,
yeah. So you see that department, you're like, oh, like that. The guy, the GM is probably in the office to the right, or like sitting behind them, on a desk, and we're like, we're gonna go that way, and we just start walking, and we go, and we've had situations where we go up to that desk and we start talking. We're like, yeah, we're the guys who did this, we'll do that, we do this, and then the GM goes. And he starts listening.
One account was so hard to get into.
Yeah.
One account was so hard to get into, and that I did business with them for years. And after like this 5th time doing business, I said, hey, I want to show something to your GM. Made it happen. They loved it. The rest is history. But I'm just trying to say, like, you got to assess what's going on in a company. Look who has influence.
Hooah!
If the prospect, not the vendor, if the prospect says to you, I'm going to need you to present this to my vendor. Red alert. Fuck that. No. Run. Try your best to not do that, because 99% of the vendors out there are going to go, get out. We'll source it ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't need you. You could have the most insane technology, the most insane solution. You could tell them that you have a machine that you put water in it and it spits out gold, and they're going to tell you to pound sand.
I don't like sand.
I have seen vendors say no to the most insane, valuable propositions. I've had vendors call my customers. Hey, you working with Andy? I'm assuming you reached out to them because you were planning on doing something, and when they told you that it was amazing, you just went off into the sunset and didn't. I have seen in the 18 years that I've been doing this stuff, it's a little longer from whatever. Sometimes people, to get rid of you, they'll create conflict. Always be 2 steps ahead of that. Get stuff in writing. I have seen managers make major fuck ups and blame it on a company. And we're like, well, no, you go back and you could try to have some stuff in writing, because every once in a while you might get someone that drops the ball. Say they got a lot of influence. The owner's going to listen to them unless you have some kind of concrete proof that that's not the case. Always try to cover your butt in that situation where you feel that a manager might use you as a scapegoat.
We've actually been in meetings before where we'll go in and we'll sit down with someone and we'll realize that this person may not, well, first of all, they're probably not a decision maker. And second of all, it probably starts some issues.
Yeah.
And so we've walked out of that meeting and walked right into the owner's office and sat down, and we realized that they weren't the right person to talk to. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, I know we've definitely been in situations like that before.
I've had somebody who went with us, like they went with our hypergrowth program, and then out of the blue they were like, yeah, we're going in a different direction at the contract renewal. And then I find out that the account was given to the manager's sister that worked for another company. That got out, and the ownership was very upset about that. They came back to us, okay? But like weird stuff like that happens behind the scenes. Like you don't know, like weird backdoor deals. People are like golfing with certain people. Like I'm not going to get into the details, but there was a recent thing that happened with a very big national brand that I disagree with.
Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, turn on post notifications so you get notified every single time we post a new episode. Check us out on Instagram for updates, clips, and more. I think I said everything. Peace out.